midnight at Hobart, and delighted to say that Annette Hesselmans and Sophie Snijders on Fika have finally crossed the line. Man, those last few hours must have been shocking.
Oh, absolute torture.
It was a very painful day.
Yeah. So, we came around Tasman Island at 8 o'clock this morning, and I thought, I gave an ETA of 10 hours. I thought that would be conservative and we should get there. And then we did 20 miles in 9 hours, and thought, oh my goodness, we're not going to get here till tomorrow morning.
Yes,
so
we were rather
excruciating.
thinking, watching you on tracker and thinking, oh man, that's such a shocking finish to a race.
Yeah.
So tell us all about it. A really tough race, the only women's two-handers in fact to finish, so congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
Pretty tough start, okay, first night. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah.
It was really wild, tricky conditions. We, I think, started off with 2 reefs in the main. We were goose winged, not all of the head sail out, and we were cruising along really beautifully. But we decided to then put the 3rd reef in, reduce more sail, and that was when things were. You're like, wow, this was pretty wild. Really tricky conditions, really big swell, really sharp, steep waves. So, it was pretty wild. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was. But we use a pretty hefty preventer line on our boom, so that was nice and secure. And we just sort of got the 3rd reef in and poled out. We did have a poled out head sail, but just a snippet of the head sail. So, away. Fika's an incredible heavy weather boat and very sea kindly. But yes, it's hard to see in the dark, what the size of the swells were like, but you could suddenly see them rearing up behind the boat and things. And I think we got to we surfed down a wave at about 15 knots or so.
Ooh, for an IOT as well.
Yeah, I've done 21 knots.
Oh, have you?
Fika,
Yes,
which was a bit wild.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So then, what happened when that westerly front came through?
Oh, well, where were we?
Well, everything sort of calmed off. That wild night eased off completely, and then it did a full 180, and it came in just as strong from the south.
Yes, so it started from the south for you, and then presumably eased round to the west here.
Yeah. And we spent the majority of the day beating into it, didn't we?
And then we had to tack. We sort of came into the shore around Merimbula, and then had to tack our way down to Green Cape.
Yeah.
So, and that went into the night. So really uncomfortable. Like
really messy seas.
Yeah, quite. And so much water over the boat. I don't think we've ever had so much water over the boat before. Just so hard to do anything, just cleaning your teeth or moving around the cockpit just to, So it really hard work that day. That was probably the worst day. And
was it?
And it was grey and miserable and things too. So
So across Bass Strait, sort of, was it getting was it easing off and letting you crack sheets?
Yeah.
And it was sunny. We had a beautiful that day.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful day. We had a great crossing across the Strait. It started off pretty calm and eventually built as we progressed towards Tasmania, and we had about 30 knots. Going through Bank Strait as well, but we were, had a good angle and were able to make our course, and we're doing really good speeds, and so Fika handled it really well, so we were just bunkered down and happy days.
And I think we got into a nice rhythm, like you were a lot more in really happy spirit.
In mode.
Stuff. In mode, we both settled into a really nice rhythm together, so that, it was a beautiful day actually.
So then what happened as you came down? Did you go into any of the calm patches, or was that really till you got down towards sort of Tasman Island?
So we had a wild night on, I can't remember which night it was, like off Flinders Island and past Eddystone Point. So it probably wasn't until St Helens that it started to ease. Right. And then, of course, went to nothing. So we sort of bobbed about for a little bit and then it's really hard to make the right decision. Do we sail offshore? Do we keep sailing offshore, or do we tack back towards the coast? Whichever tack you go on is not favourable. So... but
it was. You share that. I can't tell you how many people were frustrated by the fact the decisions they made coming down this last stretch. It's been this weird sort of amoeba of trough down there that's been causing all sorts of frustrations. And then and you wind up spending the day trying to get up the river almost.
Yeah, it was a really tricky day today, and we were, the amount of hours that we spent around Cape Rao and coming towards the Iron Pot, oh my gosh, it just took so long. Eventually we had a bit of breeze come in and we're like, oh my god, this is it, we're going. And then it came to a screeching halt again, and we honestly thought that are we going to have to start watches tonight and sit out the front here and waiting for a bit of breeze to come through.
We had under 5 miles to go, thinking we're not going to make it tonight. This is it. We're just going to hang out.
Well, you've done pretty well, because it's almost still night, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah.
So this must be giving you plenty of good practice for Melbourne Osaka, the combination of really rugged weather, then the resilience of sitting out when it's really light. Yeah.
I think it was such a diversity of having the really rough conditions. Today we've used every sail in our sail wardrobe we have. For Osaka, we're going to be crossing the doldrums, so we're going to have really light, frustrating conditions. So I think it is a really good.
And then hot and frustrating as well.
Yeah, what do you think, So?
Yeah, I think, it was a really good practice, testing all the new light wind sails that we've got aboard Fika. So that was it was a good thing in a sense, having to use all of those light wind sails and getting practice with those. I think it was a really good taste for what's to come for the Osaka.
34 days of that.
You've done a fair bit to the boat to kind of make sure it's rugged and up to it, and of course they always are anyway, aren't they? They're sort of built for some pretty tricky conditions in the first place, yeah?
We've just we've changed over our reefing system to single line reefing, and we're having a few chafe issues, so that we spent a fair bit of time just trying to nurture the reefing lines, so that they didn't chafe through, because if they did, we were that was going to present quite a few issues. So so there's still a few little tweaks and things that we need to do for Fika, but on the whole, she's a good solid boat. So
well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
That's fantastic to see you here, and look forward to seeing how you fare in the Melbourne Osaka.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.